Speaking of punching on it, okay, let's start the show off with how you're going to explain something to me today here on a program in front of all of the people, the cult of Cornette, because you started to the other day on the phone, and I said, wait a minute, save this for the show because I'm getting lost. But somehow, and I've narrowed one of them down to a reason not associated with our friend Uncle Dave, but somehow I have trended on Twitter now over the past week either 3 or 4 times without ever actually being on Twitter myself. And actually, in most cases, I was out in the yard. A couple times I was signing action figures. And apparently, again, it has amounted to Uncle Dave's irrational fucking meltdown that he continues to have on Twitter, trying to discredit my not only apparently valid, but now increasingly popular opinions about some of his favorite wrestlers. And he's causing me to trend, even though I'm not seeing them or responding to them, because so many people, you're going to give the details on this, but so many people were responding to him, asking him what his goddamn rabbit ass issue was with me and what the fuck's the matter with you, Dave, that I trended without knowing it. And now it's to the point where he has somehow managed to fix it up to where people can't reply to him because so many people were taking a piss out of him and asking him why he didn't go to a movie or sit down and pet his dog. How has he done all of this? Have I hired him to be my PR agent?
Well, let me just say, I don't know how many times you have trended exactly, because sometimes things happen at different hours and you're not watching, and I don't know how their trending things work, but it keeps popping up on my computer that you're trending at various points, and it all comes back to Dave's tweets. I do want to say, maybe I'm wrong, but it appears Dave may be going through something. So I feel bad in a sense, maybe beating up on him.
Why does he have dragged me down?
I don't know, but he's tweeting like a West Coast Bix. He flooded my fucking timeline the other day, which is nonsense after a while. So I don't know. I really don't know.
See, I don't see it. I don't remember whether I blocked him or just don't follow him, and he doesn't actually put my gimmick in there. He just mentions my name.
Anyone who mentions you to him causes him to make sure to let everyone know that you are completely discredited, that there's nothing that you say that has any validity. No one should listen to you. You're the very last person anyone in AEW that Tony Khan should listen to, the very last person. Which makes me feel good because I have a shot now. If you're the very last.
It still could be worse for you, Brian.
Yeah. But the other thing of note, and again, this is a topic that the listeners, unfortunately, have really taken to, because they keep sending me all these emails about it. Dave is now, apparently he tweets out stuff and he's turned off the ability for anyone to reply, I believe, unless he follows them.
But how, I didn't even know you could do that. How is, he's a grown man with a business to run. How does he have this much time on his hands to do all of this internet witchery with the Twitter machine? And here's another thing. I guess we should explain for some of the newer listeners, because I still have sometimes, if I will tweet something, and I've been signing figures so fucking much the last several weeks, I retweet shit a couple times a day, and that's mostly what I've gotten into. But people still say when I tweet something, they'll say, put your phone down. Like they don't know. So I will just bring everybody up to speed again for all the longtime listeners. You're well aware of this. Don't have a smartphone, never gonna have a smartphone, refuse to. I tweet on my computer where it's got a nice big screen, and I got a keyboard in front of me so I don't type like a savage with my thumbs, and I can check my spelling. And I do that first thing in the morning when I get up, and I retweet our announcements of our shows and our clips and our various things. And then probably later on in the afternoon, I'll stop by again. But otherwise, I am not on the internet unless I'm talking to you and we're recording this show. So these things happen behind my back, but So I'm not really up to date in a real time. Like, how many of these people sit there in their daily life and look at Twitter constantly and like are keeping an eye on it all day while they're awake? I don't understand it because they answer instantly to anything at any time.
There are people specifically in and around wrestling who live on Twitter. Live on Twitter. Go look at the amount of tweets. It'll blow your mind.
Okay, so Dave has figured out a way that you can't respond to him unless you follow him or he follows you, or how did that work?
Hold on, I'll actually,
Because
I believe it was that he had to follow you or mention you in order for you to be able to respond, which I'm thinking maybe a way someone said, hey, you got to stop fighting with everyone. And maybe the easiest solution was, okay, I won't let them reply, so I won't see it, but then he's still finding things to fight with.
But then people are, because then they're screenshotting it and fucking sending out, what's the matter with you, pal? And it's causing me to trend. And here's what I was going to say. Apparently, it's flummoxing my Twitter machine on my computer. Because normally when I get up in the morning, as I mentioned, I'll turn it on and I'll go down to where I last left off the previous day fairly quickly, scrolling down, see if anything catches my eye. But when this happens, the notifications go from like 4 hours ago to 17 hours ago instantly. I'm missing a big chunk of shit. It's like it's blown my thing up. It can't handle all the traffic. And so I don't get to see a lot of that, of what the fuck went on, unless I was to sit there and fucking try to figure out how to find it, and I don't have time. So some of this I'm in the dark on, but I appreciate.
We should use it as a tagline. It's actually pretty good. Jim Cornette, the very last person you should listen to.
Yes. That'll send our ratings through the roof. Everybody wants to taste forbidden fruit. They want to do the verboten. They want to take a walk on the wild side with Corny. I appreciate him being my PR agent, but I'm doing okay on my own, because one of the times that I trended, Brian, I found out what that was for. It didn't have anything to do with Uncle Dave. I trended on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, because I think it was your show on one of the recent podcasts over the last week or 9 days. I said I'm not a fan of Liv Morgan. She's not in the top echelon of the girls in my opinion, the Rheas and the Charlottes of the world. She's too girly. She's a little small and girly. I trended on Twitter. People specifically pointed this to me because I upset all of the mouth breathers that, follow the girls way too closely. And so therefore I am so irrelevant that if I say Liv Morgan's too girly for me, that trends on Twitter. What else should I trend? Pistachio ice cream. I'm for it. Oh, shit. I'm blowing up the internet now, Brian.
Are you really for it?
No.
Good.
I just want to be controversial. Anyway, speaking of controversial, we have passed that magic milestone, over 300,000 subscribers on the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel. Just want to thank everybody for their support. I still didn't get a cake from you again, Brian.
I thought we established that the cake is not supposed to come from me. It's supposed to come from people who are celebrating with you, or YouTube.
Well, they didn't send me one either. The only one I can count on is Joni out there in Washington. She's a cake kind of girl. So anyway, we talked about the Twitter business.